to Mr. Peacock and Friends. I wonder what Mr. Peacock will be doing today. Let's find out, but first I have to find him. Do you know what Mr. Peacock is? Mr. Peacock! Mr. Peacock!
I'm here.
Well, there you are, Mr. Peacock. We're wondering what you're going to be doing today.
Today, I'm going to be taking you to a historical library.
A historical library?
Yes, and it's so important that we see this historical library.
Would you like to go see a historical library?
I do. Let's go.
Okay.
Come on.
Come on.
We are in Independence, Missouri. Right behind us is the Harry S. Truman Presidential Library and Museum.
Yeah, that's right. I think we should go check and see what's in there.
Let's go.
Okay.
Let's check out his gravesite, Mrs. Peacock, along with his wife, Bess.
Okay, let's do that. When Franklin Roosevelt died of a sudden, massive stroke on April 12, 1945, a relatively unknown and untested man named Harry Truman became President of the United States. Few knew what to expect of the man who now occupied the most powerful office in the world. During Truman's first days in office, he faced some of the most difficult decisions encountered by any president in our history.
The first 4 months. Look at the newspaper articles.
When Roosevelt died, Truman had to take over.
And right here is the decision to use the atomic bomb. And boy, that was quite a decision that he had to come up with.
It says the crisis in Europe grew into a global confrontation between the United States and the Soviet Union, known as the Cold War. The party splits. Truman's prospects dimmed and he became the object of ridicule when his party split into 3 factions. Trouble began when some Democratic liberals opposed to the president's hard line toward the Soviets broke ranks to join the new Progressive Party led by former Vice President Henry Wallace. The 1948 presidential race is among the most fabled in American history. When it began, most observers counted Truman out. Even many Democrats privately conceded that he'd lose to the popular New York Governor Thomas E. Dewey. Confident Republicans were discussing the makeup of a Dewey cabinet. Defying the conventional wisdom, Truman launched an energetic campaign, crisscrossed the country by train, speaking in hundreds of communities. Sometimes he talked in more than a dozen places a day. His odyssey was dubbed the whistle-stop campaign because he spoke even in tiny communities where trains signaled their brief stops with a blast of their whistles. The morning after the election, Americans rose to news of the most surprising comeback in presidential election history. Harry Truman had won. In Missouri, Truman learned the results at 4 a.m. when a Secret Service agent woke him. Later that day, 40,000 people jammed the town square in Independence to salute the president. When he took the oath of office for his second term, Harry Truman had an ambitious agenda. He hoped to enact a broad program of domestic reforms, including national health insurance, public housing, civil rights legislation, and federal aid to education. Harry Truman's popularity plummeted during his final years in office. The frustrations of Korea, the president's inability to enact much of his domestic program, and scandals involving some of his staff led many to label him weak and ineffective. On the eve of his departure from office, his popularity rating in polls stood below 30%. In his farewell address to the nation, he reviewed the accomplishments of his administration and made his case to history. He confidently predicted America would one day win the Cold War. In later years, growing numbers of people began to change their opinion of Truman. Today, millions admire his leadership qualities, but as he left office in 1953, few could have predicted this. He looks like he's real, and you feel like you're standing right next to the president. It's very cool.
He is so tall. I bet he's about my height. I'm 6'1", and I'll have to do some research, but I bet he was 6'1", just like me.
He's standing here looking at the eternal flame of freedom. Harry Truman lived to see the days of horse and buggy give way to the days of commercial jet airlines. He purchased his first car, a Stafford, in 1913, but a horse was a primary mode of travel. Before that, again when he served in World War I. As presiding judge of Jackson County, he planned an extensive paved road system to promote county commerce.
I think you've got to buy me this Lincoln, Mrs. Peacock.
Well, it's a 1950 Lincoln Cosmopolitan limousine. It was one of a fleet of cars designed by Ford Motor Company, leased to the White House for use by high government officials.
I never thought we would get to be in the Oval Office. At least this is Harry S. Truman's recreation of his Oval Office.
Yeah, that's right. I really like it. It's nice. Portraits with important visitors. Truman liked to pose beside the large globe in front of the fireplace. And until 1950, the Oval Office was used for press conferences.
You just seen the Harry S. Truman Presidential Museum and Library in Independence, Missouri.
Yeah, it was very interesting. It was quite the library. I've never been into a presidential library before, and it was fun.
I enjoyed revisiting the history of back when he was our president, the 33rd president.
Yeah, that's right. All the information was very easy to read and to follow. And you'd learn a lot of things, so I think if you're ever near any presidential library, especially the Harry S. Truman, you should go visit.
I love going back in time and learning everything. It's so fun. Oh no, not again.
Yeah, time's up. We've got to go.
But do we have to?
Well, we got to go. Time's up.
Okay, if that's the case, I'll say see you all later.
That's right. Next time on Mr. Peacock and Friends, we'll see what's happening on the Peacock farm. Right, Mr. Peacock? Mr. Peacock is gone. Must be off on another adventure. So until next time on Mr. Peacock and Friends, I'll see you later. Mr. Peacock, Mr. Peacock, Mr. Peacock,
If you like our videos,
please subscribe,
like,
and share
with all your friends.